Hey guys, Garlic here with another 2004scape video for you. In this video, I thought it'd be a good idea to just go over all of the guilds that are currently in the game and what they have to offer you. Some of these are more useful than others, obviously, but I thought we'd just go through the ones that I haven't talked about in a video yet. So, obviously, I've already sort of covered the Legends Guild in a previous video, and I've already covered the Ranging Guild in a previous video, because I felt like they kind of had more things going on. Some of these other ones don't have a lot to talk about, but I thought just for, the sake of completion and covering everything, we'd just go over all the guilds that are in the game and sort of, what you can do in each of them. So we're going to start out, obviously you can see here, we are outside of the Champions Guild here, and to get inside the Champions Guild, you do need at least 32 quest points, and you come here for the first time when you are doing the Dragon Slayer quest. You can see the guild master greets us when we get here, and on the first floor there's not too much to talk about, to be honest. There is like a small little chicken field over there, and there is a ranged in the back room, but other than that we can just go straight up the stairs, and you can see here is Scavo. Now Scavo does have his rune store. This is where obviously we were buying a lot of rune items and free to play. And you can still come here if you need any of these items. So I'll just go through and check the prices. So they'll be in the chat box if you want to look at those. I'm not going to talk about every single price for everything, but you can buy a selection of rune items here, some green d'hide and a coif. And then also on this floor we have Valaine, who just sells a blue cape, a black full hand, black plate legs, and an Addy plate body. And that is essentially it for the Champions Guild. There's not really too much going on here. The only thing to sort of mention, I guess, is that in a future update, I believe in December 2005, we do get the Champions Challenge added to the game. That's when you'll be able to get the Champion Scrolls from things like the Imps and the Goblins and the Skeletons and things like that. When you get one of those scrolls, then you'll be able to come here, and there will be a basement in this guild, and you can go and kill the the relevant monster depending on which champion scroll you get, and then you'll get some XP from depending on which scroll you get. So I'll put a picture up on screen of all of the different champion scrolls that you'll be able to get and what the XP reward is for them. And if you do complete all of them, then you can get the Champions Cape, I believe it's called. And that looks pretty cool. But again, that update is not added until December 2005, so it's quite a ways away. And yeah, that's basically all there is to talk about with the Champions Guild. Not much going on here. Let's move over and look at another guild. So guys, we have come to the Heroes Guild is the next one we're going to have a look at. And obviously to enter the Heroes Guild, you do need to have done the Heroes Quest. And the Heroes Quest does require 55 quest points, a partner of some sort to help you out midway through the quest, level 53 cooking and fishing, level 25 herb lore, and level 50 mining. You'll also need to have completed the Shield of Arav quest, the Lost City quest, the Merlin's Crystal quest, and Dragon Slayer. And we can go in and have a look here. There's a couple of differences in the Heroes Guild in 2004 versus the one in Old School. Obviously, you'll see the main one here is that the Fountain of Heroes is just here in the middle of the ground floor. This is where you can recharge your Amulets of Glory when you've used up all the teleport charges. And this was actually changed a little bit later on in the game. So when the Games Necklace was released, the fountain here was actually moved from the ground floor into the basement. Apparently this was done so that Amulets of Glory wouldn't be so easy to recharge, since when the Games Necklace gets added, you could just teleport to Berthorpe and run here much faster. So that is a change to make a note of. There was also a agility shortcut added to the basement in 2015 on Old School, so that shortcut in the basement will not be added for a very, very, very long time, if at all. But we can have a little look at what's actually going on here in the guild. Obviously, there's a little garden out the back with some evergreen trees. Not really the most useful thing in the world. Let's go and have a look on the first floor to start with, though. And this is where Happy Heroes Hemporium is, and you can buy the Dragon Battle Axe and the Dragon Mace, 200k and 50k respectively. These are the only places that you can get those items at the moment, as far as I'm aware. There is also an altar here that you can pray at if you would like to. It's a bit far away from anything else. But that is an option there if you need to restore your prayer. And then up on the top floors, there isn't really anything else. It's just sort of a bit of decoration. So not much else to speak of there. But there is a basement here, like I mentioned. We can go down this ladder and have a quick look at what's down here. So you'll see there are some giant bats here. And then the main event that everyone seems to know the Heroes Guild for is there is a single blue dragon in this cage here. So obviously a good place to come if you want to not get attacked by a swarm, obviously. If you want to kill blue dragons without having to go to the Ogre Enclave or Tavily Dungeon and get hit, it is completely safe to kill if you bring ranged or magic. Obviously, you'll need to bring some sort of telegrab if you don't want to go inside the cage. And then there are some mining rocks here as well, which is kind of interesting. So there are 2 Addy rocks, 2 Mithril rocks, there should be 11 coal rocks, and there should also be 2 Runite rocks, I believe. I think this was in 2004 still. It may have been an old school edition. No, it is in 2004. So 2 rune rocks here in the basement of the Heroes Guild, as you can see. And then just over here where these barrels are, this is where the hero fountains was added. Obviously it's not here at the moment, but there's a little section here that gets carved out, and that is where the Fountain of Heroes is moved to. So that's basically all there is to talk about with the Heroes Guild. Let's move on to the next guild. Okay, so the next guild we're going to talk about is the Wizards Guild. This one is located in Yanil, and it does require level 66 magic to enter. Other than that, though, there shouldn't be any other requirements. So let's go inside and we'll take a quick look at what is here. Now, obviously, on the ground floor, the main thing that I think people are using the Wizards Guild for at the moment is Wizard Distentor, and he is very useful because if you speak to him here, you'll see there is an option to teleport you to the Rune Essence Mine. This is much better than the Varrock Rune Shop Aubrey teleport to the Essence Mine, because as you can see on the minimap, the bank is literally right there. So I believe if you're mining Rune Essence in Varrock, you can get about 700 Essence an hour, but if you mine them here, you can get about 1.1k Essence per hour. So that is quite a significant increase in the amount of Rune Essence you can mine per hour here. So it's also very, very chill. Like, it's like so easy just to click to the bank and back again. You can really get into a good cycle mining essence here. So that is very, very nice. There are a couple of wizards in here if you wanted to kill them for some robes or some runes or whatever, but I feel like maybe if you're at 66 magic, that might be a little bit beneath you. There is a basement here. We'll just have a quick look in here. There's not too much going on down here either. There is some zombies here in the cages, and there is Wizard Frumscone, and he basically tells you that he makes these magic zombies in the future, and he'll give you permission to kill them. He is also involved in the Swan Song quest in the future. Obviously, Swan Song quest not out just yet, but that will be available in May 2006. And then if we go and have a look on the other floors of the Wizards Guild, you can see there should be a magic shop up here. If I can, there he is, the magic store owner. So this guy sells all the elemental runes, body runes, mind runes, soul runes, nature's, chaos, blood, law, and death runes. I'll go through quickly and just show you the prices. Obviously, some of these are bought out at the moment. These ones are usually bought out quite a lot, but I'll just put the prices in the chat there for you. He also sells 5 battle staffs, so a good place to come to buy battle staffs if you're trying to train your crafting level. And he also sells all of the elemental staffs as well. Some more wizards on this floor, but other than that, not too much going on. I've just hit a wizard there, my bad. And then on the top floor here, just some more wizards. There are 2 vial spawns here, and then there is also these magic portals. So there's a couple of portals here. The eastern portal goes to the Wizard's Tower south of Draenor Village. The southern portal goes to the Dark Wizard's Tower to the west of Falador, and the western portal goes to Thormax Sorcerer Tower south of Seer's Village. These portals are only one-way teleports, so you can't like teleport there and then use the same thing to get back to the Wizards Guild. So just be wary of that, but it is kind of a nice way to get to certain areas if you're already in Yanil and need to get somewhere. But that is basically the Wizards Guild. Not too much to mention there. Let's move on to the next one. So guys, we are at the Cooks Guild. This one is in Varrock, just sort of to the west of the Varrock West Bank. And to get inside of here, you do need level 32 cooking, and you will also need to equip a chef's hat as well. You can get these as a drop from imps or goblins. So let's go inside and have a quick look. There's quite a few differences in the 2004scape version of the Cooks Guild versus the one in old school. So there's a lot of stuff that was added a lot later on. The head chef doesn't really do anything. He just says hello. And obviously you'll see it's pretty bare bones inside. There is a chocolate bar spawn if you need to get hold of anything like that. There is also a sink for a water source, and there is a flour bin because obviously this is sort of doubles up as a windmill, so you can make pots of flour here. In old school, I believe there is actually a wheat field just behind the Cooks Guild. That is not actually in 2004scape, so you'd have to get your grain elsewhere to be able to come and use it at the flour bin. But I guess if you banked a ton of it, and then you could run to Varrock West Bank and then come here to like turn it into flour, I guess that could be an option for you. But let's have a quick look on the first floor as well. As you can see, there are 2 cooking apple spawns if you wanted to make apple pies, as well as a pie dish to do that as well. There is a bowl spawn, a cake tin spawn. There are 2 ranges, and then there's the millstones there, which is the the middle part of the windmill. And then on the top floor here, obviously we have the hopper and the hopper controls to make the flour. And then other than that, there is a grape spawn, a pot spawn, a jug spawn, and a 3rd cooking apple spawn. That is literally all there is to the cooking guild. There's really not any reason to come here, I wouldn't have thought. At least I can't think of any good reason why you'd want to come here. Obviously, in Old School, there's a little bit more going on. There is a bank that gets added in Old School in 2015. If you've done the Varrock Hard Diaries, obviously we won't have access to that. But yeah, that's basically all there is. In Old School, there's like a couple of other NPCs that like... There's a guy that runs a pie shop and you can buy stuff from him. Obviously, this is where you can get the cooking skill cape in the future. But yeah, other than that, I think there's also a dairy churn here that gets added later on. But at the moment, as it stands in 2004, there really just isn't a whole a whole lot of reasons to come here to the cooking guild. So that is all it has to offer. So I guess we'll move on to the next guild. We are back, and this time we are taking a look at the crafting guild. Now, to get into the crafting guild, you do need a level 40 crafting requirement, as well as a brown apron to actually be able to go inside. Just to the west-hand side of the guild, there is a field full of cows that you can kill, obviously for the crafting cow... The cowhide crafting guild method, I should say, where you basically go kill the cows, you get the cowhide, and then you tan them in the crafting guild, turn them into hard leather bodies, and then drop them and just keep doing that. But on the ground floor of the crafting guild itself, when you get inside, there is a pottery oven here, as well as an amulet mold and a jug. There's another jug spawn on this table over here, as well as some potter's wheels. So, you could get yourself some clay and come here and do pottery. As you can see, the mine just here does have clay rocks that you can mine to do all the pottery in one place, as well as a water source at the sink over here. So you could use the jugs to get jugs of water, mine the clay, get the soft clay, use them on the potter's wheels, and then use them in the pottery oven. Also in the mine, there is gold and silver rocks. So you could come and mine these. I know a lot of people were doing a method as well where they would teleport to Falador, they would run craft an inventory of air runes, and then come to the crafting guild, mine all the silver and gold rocks, teleport back to Falador, and repeat that process. That's a pretty good method, I would say. Other than that, though, we also have a hammer and a chisel spawn in the ground floor of the crafting guild. And if we take a little look upstairs, there are some spinning wheels. Not sure how useful that really is, considering how far you'd have to run from a bank to, like, get flax or whatever it is that you're wanting to spin. There's also a necklace mold and a holy mold here. So if you've got level 40 crafting and you can't be bothered to run all the way to Alcarid and spend GP on those molds, you can just come and get them as a spawn here, as well as a pair of shears. If you wanted to go and shear some sheep. There was also a tanner here, so this is the guy that you would use to tan the cowhides once you've killed the cows in the field just behind the crafting guild. But other than that, there's not much else going on. It's a pretty good guild, I would say. Like the cowhide crafting guild method for the hard leather bodies, and also mining silver and gold ore rocks. I would say probably it's 2 main features that are worth coming here for. But other than that, not too useful. Obviously, there was a bank deposit box added to the crafting guild in Old School in 2015 from the Falador Hard Diary. That is not available to anyone right now. It probably never will be. And other than that, a little kind of cool piece of lore, I guess, is that I believe just before 2002, the crafting guild actually was a members-only guild, and in May 2002, they changed that to allow free-to-play players to be able to access the guild. But other than that, guys, I think that's all of the crafting guild stuff that we needed to mention here. Let's move on to the next guild. So guys, we are here at the Mining Guild. Now, there are 2 entrances to the Mining Guild. There is one in the northwestern corner of Falador. If you go inside the house and walk down the steps, then you can walk south a little bit and go through the door. Or you can just come right here south of the bank and go down the ladder. There's not really too much to talk about with the Mining Guild, to be honest. There's basically a ton of coal rocks down here, which is really nice for mining coal. There's also a few mithril rocks here as well, so this is a really good place to come to just superheat mithril bars. You can stay down here for quite a long time. Obviously, you mine all the mithril, and you mine an inventory of coal, you superheat the bars, and then the mithril rocks should have respawned by that point, and you can stay down here for quite a long time. And you can see here up to the north is the door that lets you in. So I believe the section just north of this door, that is just a normal part of the mine. Like, that doesn't require a mining level. But coming through this door does require level 60 mining. That is the highest skill requirement for a guild in free-to-play, I believe. So that's kind of all there is. Obviously, in the future, we get an expansion to the south here. There'll be a door here and a door a little bit further down. And that will unlock the free-to-play and members-only areas. So that actually adds adamant rocks, iron rocks, mithril rocks, and some runite rocks, as well as an ore shop that doesn't have any stock, and a shop for pickaxes as well. But those shops aren't actually in the game right now, so that's kind of all there is to talk about for the mining guild. Come here to get your coal or superheat mithril. Other than that, we'll move on to the next guild. And finally, guys, that brings us onto the fishing guild. Now, the fishing guild does require a fishing level of 68 to enter, and as you can see, I'm actually only level 65, but that's okay because what you can do is drink a fishing potion dose, and that will boost you up to 68 from 65, which will allow you to enter the guild. And in the guild, we'll go over a couple of things that are here. So there is a range here if you wanted to cook any food here that you've been fishing, as well as a harpoon and a big fishing net spawn in the first building that you come into, and a lobster pot on the floor as well. Other than that, there's not really too much going on here. Obviously, there's just fishing stuff, as you would expect. So there is a fishing shop. I think the guy's outside here, actually. So we can just speak to Rocha here. Now, this shop doesn't actually sell any of the fishing tools, which is kind of an interesting decision, really. It has 0 stock of all these fish, cooked and raw versions, so you can sell them to the shop if you want to. Also sells 1500 feathers, which is very, very nice. Very good place to come and buy feathers, as well as 2000 fishing bait. So that's, I guess, an option. I don't think anyone's really using fishing bait these days, but it is there if you need any. And then here you'll see there is just 2 piers that have a bunch of fishing spots on. There is 11 cage harpoon fishing spots for lobsters, tuna, and swordfish. There are 9 big net harpoon fishing spots for bass, mackerel, cod, caskets, and sharks. And this is basically split up into 2 docks. The northern dock is probably the preferable one to use, since it is right next to the bank that is just here. So you can fish your fish and then just come straight into the bank here and bank your fish, and then just go straight back to the pier again. There's not too much else to talk about. I guess I should mention as well that there is not an invisible fishing boost inside the guild. The same as the mining guild, that the invisible mining boost did not get added to that either until a lot later on. So the +7 fishing boost did not get added until July 2017, actually. So you won't be able to make use of that, but it is probably the closest fishing that you can do to a bank. Cathabee is okay, but you have to keep running up and down the beach a lot. So this is definitely preferable over that. But other than that, that's kind of the fishing guild wrapped up. Again, not much to say there. Obviously, we don't get minnows added until 2017 either, so none of that going on here. And eventually, you'll be able to come here to buy your fishing skill cape in 2006. That gets added, though, so a long way off there. But yeah, that's essentially the fishing guild. And the only other guild that I kind of will mention that we don't have access to yet, it's still quite a long way off, but in June 2006 you do get access to the Warriors Guild. You need a combined attack and strength level of at least 130 to enter the guild, or I believe just level 99 in one of those skills if you're a pure. And obviously that is the main place that you would want to go to get the defenders. I'm not going to go into loads of detail of everything that you can do there. I think that's probably, belongs in a video a little closer to the time when we'll get that update. But essentially there's some mini games dotted around the guild, and you do them to get tokens, and then you use those tokens to go into the top floor and kill cyclopses, and then they drop the bronze to rune defenders. There is also a couple of shops in there that sell things like food and stuff, but like I said, I think that belongs in a video of its own closer to the time when we can expect that update. But yeah, guys, that is basically all of the guilds that I haven't already covered or covered in this video for you. A bit of a short video today. Some of the guilds are not that impressive, but I thought I'd just sort of make one to just go over all of them so you can just watch this, and all the information is in one place of what you can get out of each guild. Hopefully you find that useful. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.